Hi, my name's Alliric Willis. I'm a surgical oncologist at Thomas Jefferson University, and today at the Know Your Girls event at City Hall, we talked about disparities in breast cancer screening, treatment, and outcomes, and how it is a crisis in Philadelphia. The focus of my particular talk was to emphasize that Black women present at more advanced stages and have worse outcomes for every stage, and particularly they tend to present at younger ages. What we really focused on today was breast cancer screening and the recommendations that it begins at the age of 40. And contrasting that with some of the newer recommendations that are promoting beginning screening at the ages of 50. Why that's particularly important among Black women is that Black women have a higher incidence of breast cancer at every age under 60. They particularly have an increased incidence of early onset breast cancer, so it's really important to focus on screening beginning at the age of 40 and annually thereafter. Then we further discussed the institutionalized effects of redlining, specifically how redlining, which stemmed from 1934 and the Federal Housing Administration, which limited the ability for Black Americans to get loans. They were not able to get loans that were backed by the federal government until the 1960s. So for 3 generations, they did not have access to that wealth. We looked at redlining maps for the city of Philadelphia, which demonstrated how that affects North Philly, South Philly, West Philly. And then I further looked at the 2010 census data, which demonstrates the significant impacts that persist in North Philly in comparison to Society Hill, in comparison to Chestnut Hill. And with that, we're able to further demonstrate that you have huge gaps, not just among communities, but within the communities on the basis of race. We further discussed that in the state of Pennsylvania, sadly, we are one of the worst states in the country for the disparity in outcomes between Black and white women, with Black women being 49% more likely to die from breast cancer in the state of Pennsylvania than are white women. Further down into Philadelphia, we looked at those details from recently reported from the CDC, which demonstrate that within the city of Philadelphia, Black women are 36% more likely to die from breast cancer than are white women.
Wow.
And then I really focused on something that I call keep it real, research, educate, act, and lead. And then focused on some research that I've done looking at women from North Philly and the disparities in timely completion, a published paper that we put out not too long ago, demonstrating disparities along race lines as well as along age lines, with Black women and Latina women being the most likely to not complete their radiation therapy for breast cancer on time, and also young women under 50 being the most likely not to complete it in time. We further discussed a new study that we have in National Institutes of Health, NIH-funded study that we have at Jefferson, along with colleagues from the University of Delaware, called African American Families Fighting Parental Cancer Together. And in that study, we're focusing on solid tumor cancer patients with stages 1, 2, and 3 of any type of solid tumor who have children in the ages of 12 to 18, and looking at the entire family and how we can best engage the families, the issues, the barriers that they have during their cancer treatment, which is an area that's very understudied, but the entire family is involved in the process of taking care of one with cancer. And particularly in the case of breast cancer, since very often the woman is the poor of that family, putting everyone else in front of herself, we need to make sure that we've covered from all angles the best care of our cancer patients.
Gotcha. And then as far as an event like today, the education and resources provided, how do you feel like this may help some of the disparities regarding breast cancer and some of the redlining communities that you spoke of?
I think the first step is getting that information out there in the right venues to the right people, and this sort of a venue where you have city council people, you have some really innovative thinkers, thought leaders in the same room, that can really help us to identify this as a problem, look for ways that we can attempt to solve it, increasing education, increasing community activism. So this is a great venue to get this out there as a priority for the city.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Thanks.